Welcome fight fans to my channel. This is Johnny, and in this video we're going to investigate the importance of weight classes in relationship to a potential matchup at 168 pounds between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Guys, lately in the chat groups, in our boxing forums, people have been asking me almost every day now, who do I think would win between a Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fight? And I tell them all the time, all you have to do is be a fan, a subscriber of my channel to know that I'm a huge Bud Crawford fan. But that doesn't mean when you ask me who would win that fight at 68, I would say Bud Crawford. Any real boxing fan is a fan of the sport. They're not gonna fanboy one fighter and be delusional about a specific matchup. So in this video, I wanted to break down Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, specifically their last 10 years. We're gonna rewind the clock back to 2014, and we're gonna focus on three main fights for Terence Crawford. His last fight at 135 pounds, his last fight at 140 pounds, and his last fight at 147 pounds. And you could see why we're gonna do this. We're also gonna correlate that last fight with Bud with Canelo's fight at that same time. We're gonna talk about which weight classes they were in at that same time, what year it was, who they fought, and how they went about their victory, whether they won or lost. And with Bud, we know he's undefeated, so we know he won. Catch everyone up on their careers. Canelo Alvarez is coming off his victory this past May against Jaime Munguia, in which he retained all of his belts at 168. He is the undisputed champion. We haven't seen Terence Crawford since July of 2023, in which he defeated Errol Spence Jr. and became the undisputed champ at 147 pounds. We know that he's getting ready for his first ever fight at 154 pounds this August in LA against Israel Madrimov. That fight will be for Madrimov's WBA 154-pound title. Now we have all of that out the way, we can get to the crux of this video and investigate the relevance of body weight, weight classes in relationship with being competitive. All right, let's take it back to 2014. We must remember, Bud Crawford's 3 years older than Canelo. So in 2014, Bud was 26, Canelo was 23. In Crawford's last fight at 135 pounds, he fought Raymond Beltran. This was actually Bud's last fight 10 years ago, in which he didn't finish his opponent. Bud Crawford won a unanimous decision in the 12th. That same year, 2014, Canelo Alvarez fought at 155 pounds, 20 pounds more than Bud, against Landry Lara. And Alvarez won a close split decision in the 12th round over Lara. 10 years ago, Bud at 135, Canelo at 155. Bud 26, Canelo 23. Let's fast forward to 2017. Now this is the year Crawford fought for the last time at 140 pounds. He challenged Julius Ndongo. In 2017, Crawford was 29 years old, Canelo was 26. Crawford ended up knocking Ndongo out in the third round. That same year, 2017, Canelo Alvarez fought for the first time of three fights against Triple G to a draw. That fight was at 160 pounds. Once again, 3 years later, 2014 to 2017, Bud jumps from 135 to 140, Canelo jumps from 155 to 160. Still a 20-pound gap. The last fight we're gonna focus on is Bud's last fight at 147 pounds. We know this was July 2023 against Errol Spence Jr., in which he won via 9th round knockout. That same year, we saw Canelo Alvarez defend his undisputed straps at 168 against Jermell Charlo. Once again, years have passed, 2017 to 2023. 6 years later, Bud jumps from 40 to 47. Canelo jumped from 60 to 68. Once again, a 20-pound gap. Do we see a pattern here? The reason why this is significant is that you can rewind the clock back 10 years to Canelo, and the lightest he had fought at was 155 pounds. Do the math with the same clock, Bud was fighting at 135 pounds. If fight fans get their way and this Canelo-Bud Crawford actually gets made, that means that from that age gap, Bud Crawford would have once fought at 135 to 168. That's over 30 pounds difference. So when people ask me who would have the advantage, I would be hell-bent to not say Canelo, specifically based on the body weight, not necessarily of what they're walking around at or what they weigh now, or hey Johnny, they both weigh in at the same on fight night. Guys, we have to think about their body of work. We have to think about our bodies as an engine. How much effort and output is our cardiovascular system and our muscular endurance system used to carrying that body weight for an extended periods of time? For the last 10 years, this is Canelo's wheelhouse. So if you ask me, Crawford, like a magician, like a samurai, has done it the right way. In the last 10 years, he's moved up 35, 40, 47. We're about to see him at 54. And depending on what he looks like at 54, there's no reason that he won't look great. Maybe the fight at 68 will happen, but he doesn't have the experience within his frame to know what it feels like to fight at that weight class. So when somebody says, who do I think would win at 168 pounds? I'd have to say Canelo. Even though I said at the beginning, I'm a Bud Crawford fan. Let me know who you think would win if the fight would ever take place at 168 pounds between Canelo and Bud.